Hey everybody, welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. Time for another movie review. Yippers, just pumping them out. Tonight's movie is called Battle of the Sexes. So some of you might remember this. I, for some reason, remember this true story. However, it happened before I was born. Let's be clear about that. This happened in 1973, based on a true story. And the true story is about Billie Jean King, who is like the U.S. women's tennis champion, and Bobby Riggs, who is a one-time men's champion. And so I think what I remember is he challenges her to a tennis match to prove who's better. So it's a battle of the sexes, and it becomes like a media phenomenon in 1973. A big to-do, and I think this is going to be the story behind all of that. I don't know why I remember this. Like I said, I was not born when this happened, so I must have seen it later on in life when I was really watching into sports and stuff like that. But anyway, this stars Emma Stone, Steve Carell. Let's see if there's anybody else in it. Sarah Silverman, whatever. Bill Pullman. Elizabeth Shue's in it. Whatever, the list goes on and on. I'm not sure what kind of roles they all play, but Emma Stone plays Billie Jean King, and Steve Carell plays Bobby Riggs. So they're pretty powerful actors right there. IMDb 7.0. Rotten Tomatoes 86% fresh from the critics and 76% fresh from us users, or the audience, if you will. It's high rated. Based on what we've been watching, or I've been reviewing, and you've been watching me talk about. So pretty good expectations. Very true story. I love anything based on a true story. Great actors and actresses. Steve Carell, The Office, Emma Stone, just about in everything nowadays. La La Land is, I think, most recent. Winning Oscars, all that stuff. So I'm excited to see what this one has for us. And if you stick with me, I'll let you know a little bit more about the plot. I think you could read it all online, but I'll give you the true stuff, the stuff that I'm seeing, and any interesting facts that I pull out, and then ultimately my opinion. That's what really matters. That's why you're watching it. Alright, enough about me. Let's get back into the Battle of the Sexes, and I'll check in a little bit. Alright. Hey everybody, time for a quick check-in here. We're watching Battle of the Sexes. It is at the 34-minute and 4-second mark, and some interesting stuff has happened, like not knowing the full story about it. It all starts off, Billie Jean King wins the championship, and they come to the realization that they are paying the men 8 times as much as the women. And they make the point that, one side makes the point that the men are more interesting to watch, but then the counterpoint to that is they sold as many tickets to the women's championship as they did the men's. So why would you have the amount of draw and ticket sales from both sides? Why wouldn't you pay them equally? And that Bill Pullman plays the head of the tennis group. I don't know, the LTA or something like that, the Lawn and Tennis Association, whatever, something like that. That's what they're all part of. And so Billie Jean King says, pay us fairly or we'll boycott. And he says, yeah, good luck with that. And she's like, we'll start our own tournament. And he says, good luck with that. And of course, that's what she goes and does. So they start the WTA, which I believe is the Women's Tennis Association. And they get sponsorship from Virginia Slim's cigarette company. And they go out and have tournaments across the country. And that's how this all kind of got started. So they broke away from whatever the organization was before and created theirs. I had no idea about any of this. I just assumed that, I figured there was women's and men's tennis, but I didn't realize that, they were paying them much less, which I could see back in the 70s, but that they broke away and created their own league, which is great. So that's where we are so far. Bobby Riggs, his character, he's married to, so it's Steve Carell, who's married to Elizabeth Shue, has some gambling type problems. He likes to gamble a lot, even though he's very rich, and he's kind of a hustler in that sense, and a past tennis champion as well. And now it's just gotten kind of to the part where, she's getting a lot of publicity, because of what she's doing, and he comes up with the idea of challenging her to a tennis match, and this is where the battle of the sexes come. But that's just starting now, so it's 34 minutes of development into that. And one other thing too, so Billie Jean King, and I don't remember all of this part of it, but she's also dealing with her sexuality so far in the movie. So she was married, or at this point in the movie, she's married, but starts to investigate a little bit more of her sexuality and a woman that she has met. It's just the beginning stages of that. And again, not knowing the full history of what happens. I mean, I'm kind of learning as I go. I'm sure other people who watch this are like, yeah, no, this is what happens with that. But I'm telling you as I see it. So far so good. Very entertaining. I like it a lot. But I'll get back into it a little bit more and share some more facts with you when I can. All right. See ya. Hey, everybody. I want to do one last check-in before the credits. Battle of the Sexes here. 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 32 second mark. Not a whole lot to tell you, but I wanted to do one more quick check-in. Anyway, the sexual curiosity piece has kind of gone to the back burner. It's still there a little bit, but it really, the focus of the movie has now changed to Bobby Riggs. He wanted to play Billie Jean King. She refused, and then she was playing one of the other top women tennis players, and whoever wins that one would have been number one. And the way that Billie Jean King was playing, because of everything that was going on in her personal life, she wasn't playing that well. If the other person wins, she becomes number one. And Bobby Riggs approached her before the match saying, hey, if you win, we could play each other and I'll pay you $35,000. So they do. So she wins. She beats Billie Jean King, and then they play each other, and he beats her pretty badly. And so that kind of forces Billie Jean King to then go ahead and have to accept the challenge to play him. And so now the lead up to this point so far has been like in the beginning, like boxing, more like boxing, when they talk, and they do press conferences and they badmouth each other and stuff like that. That's how it all started and was building up. And then he made a mockery of everything. He's saying he's chauvinistic. He put on this whole act, playing in a dress, playing with a pan, things like that. So, really trying to drum up the media and stuff to make it a big event. And that's where we are so far. We've got 34 minutes left, pretty much getting ready for the tennis match of the Battle of the Sexes, and we'll see what happens. It is very good. If you're not familiar with the story, this is a lot of fun to watch. So, all right. I'll get back to it a little bit and check in with the credits. I'll make that segment a little bit shorter so that you stick with me the whole time. Thanks. Hey everybody, we're at the credits. Battle of the Sexes, and I really enjoyed this movie. I don't want to go on too long, but I'll start you off with my score. I'm going to say an 8. I think Emma Stone was fabulous. I forgot. You forget it's Emma Stone half the time. And Steve Carell's in it too. I think he did a good job. It's Steve Carell the whole movie, but I thought Emma Stone did a great job of being Billie Jean King. I think the story is really good. Again, I heard about this before, and I knew it was man versus woman, and the Battle of the Sexes, obviously, but not the whole backstory of it, about how chauvinistic, these times were, and how men are so much superior to women. I mean, even not only people thinking it, but the broadcasters are talking about it, and then it's just like you never hear that kind of stuff on TV nowadays. So how far we have come to, get closer to making sure that everybody's treated equal. I'm not here to say that I think everybody should be treated equal. I'm not saying it doesn't happen or not, but I believe everybody should be treated equal. But that's enough about me. More about this movie, and this was really a great movie to bring that to the front and get the respect that women need, because they are phenomenal athletes, and everything, phenomenal at everything, not just athletes, but that's what this movie's about. I really thought it was good. The backstory, if you've never heard of the Battle of the Sexes before, I encourage you definitely to watch this. If you know a little bit about it, still watch it. Just watch the movie. I think it might be different based on how much you know. I knew a little bit about it and I loved it. This really puts it all together for you. Not again. I'm thinking it's just this tennis match between a guy and a girl. Who's going to be better? That's not. It's not. It's more about women's rights and the respect for women and everything like that, and the build up for that. And also, I think at this time, as I had mentioned, she was looking at her sexuality as well, and I don't think that was as welcomed back in 1973 as it might be today. So there's a lot in this movie. I'm surprised it's not bigger than it is, but there's a lot in it that makes it an excellent film. 8 for me. I don't want to keep going on, but I just make sure I wanted to touch on everything there. Let me know what you think. I definitely think you should check it out. And if you do, I'd love to hear from you. KimmelsIrishPub.com. It's an 8 for Battle of the Sexes. See you next time.